What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, we're gonna completely restore this 1964 Chevrolet C10, and we're giving you the chance to win this thing. So head over to MotionAutoTv.com right now. Actually, maybe wait until after this video. Link in the description, secure some entries for a chance to win this thing. Let's get to work.
We make the streams louder.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So on this whole little C10 build that I decided to get ourselves into, what do you think about it?
It's gonna be nice. You know what I think about it is I'm glad that we have Jay Boogie over here help us.
Jay Boogie, we got Jay Boogie. We brought in the big dogs. That is actually Josh. He's from our old shop. He was in the same complex. We used to borrow his paint booth all the time. When they jacked up the prices, he said, you know what? I'm too old for this stuff. I'm gonna retire. So what he did, he freaking sold everything, shut her down. And now he's just working out of his garage, his house. Yeah, kinda. He actually hasn't even worked on any cars since he so we're pulling him out of retirement. I called him up the other day. I threw a freaking fishing line over there and I said, Josh, get over here, buddy. We need some help. Josh is gonna be helping us do some body work and some stuff on this because he's worked on a lot of classic things. He's probably one of the fastest.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Fast guy.
And we have other stuff to be doing right now, so if we can have Josh come in and help us, and it works.
Obviously, paint and body work, first step is you gotta look at it and then assess what you gotta do. And I think Josh has already did that. He looked at it, he said, yep, it needs fixed. Now we have some panel gap issues. So these things, I guess, when they came from the factory, they weren't even that good to begin with, but they're okay. So we got some weird gaps right here. So we got a skinny gap right here. We got a big one, we got a little one right there. You know, just the door doesn't fit as it should. So what we're gonna be doing is taking off the fender, taking off the hood, taking off this piece right here, right? And then he's gonna be adjusting the door gaps and trying to get it kind of set. Gonna make some marks on it, and then we're gonna pull the door off, start doing some body work on it. So we already have a little bit of filler, and then probably there was a little bit of rust there previously. We gotta start taking it apart. So hope you guys enjoy this time lapse. All right guys, so it is the next day. We found out some issues with the fenders. So take a look right here. That fender, it looked beautiful before you started sanding on it, which, you know, pretty much anything that you put primer on it is gonna look good because you're covering up just whatever was underneath it. And that's exactly what happened right here. So like that's a DIY, like at home in the garage, flux core, bird poop, welded patch. So Josh started working on this thing, started grinding it off and said, oh my goodness, buddy, look at this whole thing is just covered, which, you know, it started getting a little bit thicker down there at the bottom. And the more he kind of started looking at it, he's like, hey, how much are fenders? So got on the internet, found some fenders, brand new fenders, and I ordered them. So we got brand new fenders on their way. It gets better. So coming over here to the door, again, black primer doors. I feel like this just happens with every single one of the projects that we do. Is like, you look at it and you're like, we could paint that thing in like a week or two, you know, like it ain't gonna be no big deal. That's not the case when you work on a 1964 Chevrolet C10 that somebody has already put primer and filler and things and other stuff and welds on. So check out this door, looks great. Right here in the front, you'll see a little bit of filler and you're like, okay, they probably put a patch panel. Pretty much all these things rust right there. You know, obviously we never like looked underneath this. Check this out. So right here, we have more rust on the bottom. They basically just patched the front of it, but didn't do anything with the back. And then on the bottom, there is a little bit of rust. Overall, this door isn't bad. It's pretty savable. Like basically we would have just like made 2 new patches for it. The green C10 that we have outside, when I initially bought that truck, it came with some doors that were actually in a lot better condition. They had the little rust in the front, but other than that, they've never been messed with. Nobody else has ever touched them. So what Josh did is take them to his house where he had all of his metalworking tools, cutters, welders, grinders, all that stuff. Because right now we're still a little bit of a mess here. All of our tools are still kind of in the Mercedes. Basically over the weekend, he fixed those doors, cut out the rust spots, welded in new patches, and did a little bit of filler work on them. So, and he's gonna be here shortly with those things, actually just in a couple minutes. So we'll talk to him when he gets here. That leads us to another piece. Do you guys wanna check out another thing that I'm looking at on the truck that needs a little bit more work? Hold on, check this out. It's kind of a silly truck because how it is, somebody basically just like rattle can black primered this thing. But when I took it to the drag races, what was that? That was a year ago. I basically bought this truck, made 2 videos with it, maybe 1 video with it. We took it to the drag strip. It actually ran a 13.4. Let's put in a clip of this thing. So this thing ripped down the drag strip. Sounds pretty good, right? So even though this thing is kind of a beat up looking old truck in its current state with the filler and the dents and the things and the stuff, everybody who walked by it in the pit lane, kids were looking at it, guys were looking at it, wives were looking at it, and they were looking over at their husband like, hey, where's your C10, buddy? Now's your chance. Head over to MotionAutoTv.com, get in there for a chance to win this thing. But look at these dents. I think the previous owner, he discovered, either he did this and it started cracking, or he discovered this as he was like primary and stuff. And he said, I'm not gonna worry about that. And he went like this, he went with the rattle can and just left it. Then I ended up buying it. Still a pretty presentable truck, and honestly in pretty good condition considering the fact that this thing is from 1964, which I was born in 1992. My dad was born in 69. So this thing is older than the twinkle in my dad's eye. A little bit of rust, a little bit of things right here. There was probably about a ½ inch of filler on here to get it presentable. The cool thing about these old trucks is that there is places online that make reproduction parts. So what I actually did is I ordered 2 brand new bedsides, 2 brand new front fenders, grill stuff, some interior stuff, a carpet kit, a bunch of other things that are essentially on their way. That's pretty much it. I think Josh is getting ready to pull up here in a minute, and then we're gonna talk about the doors, check out the new doors, and show you guys, talk about our plan a little bit more. Nice doors, right? Josh, nice doors. So the doors are here. Josh, what did you do?
Just stripped them. Had to do a bunch of pulling with the pins and
basically like metal work instead of...
Yeah, just getting it to where the filler's not thick.
Using basically a little stud gun where you like stick the thing, it goes, and then you pull on it and then tap around with it. Did you have to do any shrinking?
Yeah, I did a little bit of shrinking. It's because it was stretched in a few spots.
And these ones already had a little bit of filler work on them, right?
Yeah, they had been repaired previously.
But not...
At some point.
Not...
A long time ago.
But not anything compared to those other doors.
No, the other ones are probably way more wood than these.
Yeah, these ones turned out pretty good. So yeah, he basically just cut out, there's a little rust patch in each corner. You made the little template with the tape, right?
I usually just tape wherever I'm gonna cut after I cut it out. Then the piece I cut out, I use as a template to cut my new piece.
So yeah, basically welded in a new patch on each corner. Already did a little bit of the filler work, kind of roughing it in, pretty good. But Josh is really quick, he's really fast. And he actually helped us out a lot on the S14, the Midnight Purple S14, because the over fenders that we got, they were the fiberglass ones, and they had like a big, it was like you could eat cereal out of it, right? Oh
yeah, they were pretty.
Like the cereal bowl. And he's done a lot of stuff with like old school classic cars where the, you know, big round curvy fenders, whereas I've done flat panels and stuff before, but nothing super curvy. That's probably why I had to primer the Supra like 10 different times to get it straight. But yeah, no, these things are looking good. So basically what else do we need to do to them? Just a little bit more?
I just got a little bit more filler work and then they're ready to go to primer.
Mostly just icing though, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like a real light skim on it just because these old panels, it's just faster to skim them than to try to block them 5 or 6 times or whatever some guys do.
And he said one of my favorite words, which is primer. So I'm excited about that. All right, so one of the things that we need to do now that we have new bedsides on their way, we need to pull the bed off this thing. So, I don't think you guys have heard this thing in a little while. Check it out. This thing sounds like, this thing's a beast. They say there's no replacement for displacement. We actually have a t-shirt for that. But there's a reason why Cletus McFarland himself switched to a big block in the mullet to run them 7-second passes. No replacement for displacement. Sometimes you just gotta add a couple more turbos. right, guys, so Josh got the doors all skimmed and pretty dang nice. Like I said it once, I've probably said it 3 or 4 times, I'll say it again. He's really fast at the bodywork stuff. Really stoked that he actually had a little bit of time to come in and kind of help us with this stuff, and he's gonna continue to help us doing some more stuff on the C10. Obviously this thing needs a lot of bodywork, but I'm really stoked. New fenders, new bed sides, new grill, a bunch of new stuff for it. We might end up going with a different hood, depending on what we find when we start kind of getting into some of that filler on there. There's a little bit of filler on the roof too, maybe like a little 1/4 of an inch. So he's actually gonna bring his shrinking tip for his spot welding gun tomorrow. If you guys are stoked on these bodywork videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. If you wanna see some more, don't forget to get entered for a chance to win this thing. I don't think you guys realize how much work is going to go into this thing. Like, we've already put in a lot of work on it just to get it apart, and like the door's solid. Tons of stuff is gonna have to happen within the next 2 weeks. So we wanna try to get this thing painted obviously before the end of the giveaway, which is the end of this month. As of right now, we are doing 7 times entries over on MotionAutoTv.com. So if you have not got entered for a chance to win this thing, it's probably a good time. Putting a lot of work in this thing. We have a lot of things going on kind of in the background on the other side of the shop that I'm excited to show you probably in one of the next videos. But a little bit of a secret is it goes hand in hand with painting this thing. So appreciate you guys watching. See you in the next one.